Hello and warm welcome to yet another edition of the final take with me, Seni Marina. Today in the studio, we have two distinguished guests in the passing of Mr. Lare Sisay, a senior official of the opposition United Democratic Party. Joining us later also will be Dr. Lamin Manneh, also another senior official of the United Democratic Party. Our topic for discussion today, we all know Gambians are heading to poll in 4 months' time. December 5th, Gambians will choose whether to continue with Adama Barrow or they're going to part company with President Adama Barrow. So that will be decided at the poll. As we speak now, coalition building is the talk of the town. Opposition parties are coming together to build a unified coalition, although there has been some cracks in the coalition building process. But to discuss this and many more, Uncle Lare Sisay and Dr. Manneh will take us through about the UDP position in the coalition building process and the way forward. Gentlemen, we'll take a quick break, and when we are back, we will begin this show. Thank you.
Tune into the final take with MK Mariner every Saturday on the Alcamba Times and experience extensive conversations on a variety of topics, including national and international headlines, breaking issues, and major developments in politics, business, innovation, science, and sports, along with inspiring stories and expert analysis to provide a comprehensive understanding of the news.
Good morning, wherever you are joining us. This is the final take with me, Seni MK Mariner. Today, we have two special guests in the passing of Lare Sisay and Dr. Lamin Manneh, both senior officials of the opposition United Democratic Party. We'll be talking about the UDP strategy and position ahead of December 5th presidential election. Lare, welcome to the final take. I know Dr. Manneh will join us shortly. Mr. Sisay, welcome to the final take. This is your first time on the final take. You remember last year we supposed to have some conversation, but due to some technical issues back home, we couldn't. But finally, welcome back to the final take with me, Seni Marina.
Thank you, Seni, and thank you to your listeners and viewers. This is like going back to Sukudam.
Yeah, right.
I keep telling you when the time is right, it will happen.
Absolutely,
absolutely. Now the time is right, we can talk.
Absolutely. And I'm very happy to have you on this show. This is the first time, but we are all from Kuda, Nyamina, but that does not mean that this interview will be easy because Mr. Sisay and Manneh has come under fire for their, party position with regards to coalition buildings. Mr. Lare, welcome both of you. For viewers just joining us, briefly introduce yourself and the role you currently play within the UDP, especially regarding the 2026 presidential election and the coalition building discussions.
Seni, as I said, it's good to see you. It's good to be on this program. My name is Lare Sisay. I'm originally from Kudang. I hold no elective position in the UDP. The position I have is an appointed one, and that is I've been appointed chairman of the party's policy and strategy committee, and that's the role that I play. The role that we play is basically designing and articulating the party's development policy and vision for the country, as spelled out in our 5-point agenda, in our manifesto, and in our new document, Building the Gambia We Want. Building the Gambia We Want is a must-read for most Gambians who want to see what UDP's vision for this country ought to be. I had last week the finance minister saying he wants to make the Gambia the Dubai of Africa. Well, he's late. Some of us have been writing about the Singaporeization of the Gambian economy as far back as 1990. We've lost all of that. And for the minister to sit and say, now I want to build a country that mirrors Dubai 10 years into your term speaks volumes. He should have given us a Dubai 10 years ago, not now.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Lare Sisay. I just want to make a quick comment before we go further. For those who are trying to call me on WhatsApp, please stop calling me on WhatsApp. I'm live on my show. Anytime you call me on WhatsApp, it disrupt my show, and I had to restart it again. Please, for God heavenly sake, stop calling me on WhatsApp when I'm live on my show. Angulare, sorry for that, because this is going to be an interesting conversation, and I don't want the conversation to be obstructed by calls or unnecessary messages. That's why I want to send this message.
You see, somebody called you again.
Tune into the final take with MK Mariner every Saturday on the Alcamba Times and experience extensive conversations on a variety of topics, including national and international headlines, breaking issues, and major developments in politics, business, innovation, science, and sports, along with inspiring stories and expert analysis to provide a comprehensive understanding of the news. Tune into the final take with MK Mariner every Saturday on the Alcamba Times and experience extensive conversations on a variety of topics, including national and international headlines, breaking issues, and major developments in politics, business, innovation, science, and sports, along with inspiring stories and expert analysis to provide a comprehensive understanding of the news.
Welcome back. For that short break. As I said, I was talking about people calling me when I'm live. Before I am done, someone just called me, so my show has been obstructed again. So, guys, please just listen to this interview. Allow me to do the interview, and you can call me later. Because this interview is purposely for Mr. Sisay and Dr. Manneh. Mr. Sisay, sorry about that short interruption due to unending calls. Mr. Sisay, the presidential election is scheduled for December 5th. From the UDP perspective, what is the single biggest political challenge facing the opposition right now?
Well, the challenges that the opposition parties are facing are the same challenges the country is facing. There is a lot of divisive politics going on in the country, and that is why the opposition parties decided to chart a way forward for us to have a unified approach to the elections. While we are doing that, these other guys are dividing us along ethnic lines. They are dividing us along regional lines. And they are co-opting the local government authorities, from the governors to the Sefolu and Alkalolu, to do their campaign for them. So that cannot augur well for an opposition party of any sort, no matter how big and strong you are. The incumbency is a very powerful tool.
Right.
And President Barrow and his team are doing just that. Just before we came on board, the governor of LRR, as always, has suspended another alcalo
Yeah, I saw it on the news. Yeah.
Yes, and these are some of the things that makes it difficult for opposition parties to operate in this country. We've seen it during Jammeh's time, but President Barrow has taken it to another level. And he made it very clear, if you are a SAFO, you are an Alcalo, and you are on the government's payroll, either you campaign for me or you are out.
Yeah.
And he's
Yeah.
demonstrating just that.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Mr. Sisay, for that intervention. On this show, joining us live from Banjul is Dr. Lamin Manneh, another prominent figure of the opposition United Democratic Party. These two gentlemen are the ones spearheading the coalition discussion before the party withdraw from the opposition coalition talk. Dr. Manneh, welcome to the final take.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be back here today, and say hello to all your listeners and viewers.
Yeah.
As usual, it's always a pleasure joining you on your show. Thank you.
Absolutely. I'm so excited to host two gentlemen. I will say highly sought after politicians in the country, because before we started this interview, I understand you guys were in another forum discussing about 2026 presidential election and the UDP position going forward. Mr. Manneh, both of you represented the UDP in the coalition 2026 mediation talk. Walk us through what the UDP core's position was from the beginning regarding the structure of any opposition alliance.
Thank you very much. And first of all, we apologize to your listeners for coming in late. As you said, we have another program which got delayed by the technical issues in the Gambia, internet and all that stuff. Yeah. But we are happy to be here, and we apologize for the delay.
Absolutely.
The coalition talks. Thank you. The coalition talks were initiated by Malik Kamara and the ADD, Alliance for Democracy and Development, and they contacted us, UDP, and all other political parties in the country, and said if we are willing to come in and negotiate a coalition agreement between all of us. We said absolutely. Anytime you talk about coalition or any negotiations, we are already ready. And as Mr. Dabo said, that's why we have the name United in our name, United Democratic Party. We want unity in the country. So we told him, yeah, go ahead. We are on board. Then he contacted other parties, and they also give their agreement. And then we met for the first time on the 18th of April, and the delegation was led by Mr. Dabo himself. So the discussions were aimed at setting up a coalition, a viable and credible opposition coalition to contest the elections as one group in 2026 December. Now, what we had initially aimed to do was to bring around the table the opposition political parties. And the first meeting was essentially parties. But then the members of the round table said maybe we can bring in other opposition entities which are not parties. This could be other entities that are trying to register, or some which are CSOs, etc. Let's bring everybody around the table. We had a bit of reticence about that because we know that can easily get out of hand, and we might not be able to control the outcome the way we need to. And but we said, okay, let's go ahead. Let's bring everybody around the table, hoping that common sense will prevail. But what happened very quickly, we saw that it became very partisan. Some people came with the sole objective of going against anything UDP says. And that did not help. We went there to negotiate in good faith, to get everybody around the table and get a coalition program. We said we want a party-led coalition. Because in any normal coalition, the biggest party leads the coalition, and the smaller parties coalesce around it. So we can have a big movement and we go ahead and win the elections and run the country together. That was our preference, and that was what we advocated for. And other parties said, no, we want a candidate-led, in which case the candidate has to resign from his or her party and run as an independent candidate. And I told them that is what got us into trouble we are in the first place. Adam Barrow was part of UDP. He was made to resign in 2017 to run as an independent candidate. So he lost well, not he lost the control, but I mean, the party lost control over him. The coalition lost control over him very easily because he was independent of all those structures. When he won and he wanted to go it solo, he kicked everybody out and he formed his own party. We say we don't want a repetition of that scenario. Let's have a candidate that comes from a political party and stays within the political party, and that political party will have control more or less over some of the things he might want to do, in addition to the control by the coalition. So he's controlled by his party, his or her party, and the coalition to make sure that he stays within the framework of what the coalition has decided. But they said, no, we want an independent candidate who will be independent of every party. They said, but we're going to repeat 2016. But they went along those lines because basically what the idea was that they thought by doing that they can keep UDP out, and then we support them to lead the country. And that is a bit disillusion. It's a disillusion because how will we do that? Even if we were to accept that, that our base will not follow us in that. Our base will say we are the biggest party by far. Why would we hand over leadership to another entity we don't even know? Some of the people who came to those coalition talks, we don't even know them. Even us, we didn't know who these people are. So, and you want to hand over leadership to those people? How is that going to work? We said, no, let's be reasonable. Let's do it where it's not everywhere. How it's not everywhere. Look next door, Senegal. They had the same thing with Pasteur. Pasteur was the leading party. It was a party-led, right? You go to South Africa today. ANC is in a minority government, but it's led by ANC. They are the biggest party in the country. They're leading it. Go to Kenya. William Ruto's party is the minority in the party, in the coalition, but he's leading it. Same thing. Go to any other country in the world. India, BJP. BJP is the biggest party in the coalition.
Dr. Manneh, I will come back to you shortly because this is a very serious conversation right now, because many people feel that because UDP is the biggest opposition party, they got the muscle, they're trying to bully smaller parties into submission. I will come into that. Lare, on the 25th July, the UDP formally withdrew from these talks. You were there with Dr. Manneh. What was the moment or issue that made continued participation impossible?
Let me finish where Lamin Manneh has left off. And that is for us to give them the leadership of the coalition. But it's not just giving them the leadership of the coalition. It also will involve UDP giving them our structures, our national presence, and our grassroots mobilization strategy to win that election. Without that, they cannot win this election. And everybody knows that. So let's stop at that. What really triggered us to exit is, as Lamin said, we went in on the assumption that we're going to have a good faith negotiation. Good faith meaning you go in with a clear mind and a clear conscience, and you discuss the issues and come to an agreement of some sort. That's what good faith meant. We went in there in good faith, but what we were faced with are three things which we could not reconcile with because they go against the grain of our mandate to negotiate. And what are those three things? One is the issue of the candidate-led versus party-led.
The party-led, yeah.
Our party, our national executive, our central committee were very clear. Go in there and negotiate for a party-led.
So meaning the UDP position since onset is very clear, right? There is no ambiguity in your position.
No, it was very clear. Our charge was very clear. The party was very clear. The national executive was very clear. The central committee was very clear. Go in there and negotiate a party-led. And that's what we've maintained consistently. Now, when candidate-led came in, it became very clear that two political parties at the time, because one of the entities was not registered at the time, two political parties plus 7 or 9 entities, which are basically civil society organizations and movements, decided they are the majority against 4 registered political parties. Now, nowhere in the world do you see something like that. And I always say Gambians have a penchant for defying what international norms and trends are when it comes to our politics. All over the world, Lamin just named you a few countries.
Yeah.
You already have Germany. Germany has a coalition government led by the bigger political party. UK, when there is a coalition, it's led by the bigger political parties. Gambia, we say no. Even though you are big, your numbers don't count, your systems don't count, and your size doesn't count. We want
but why don't you think that, because Gambia is a small country. If big and advanced democracies are adopting to those kind of model, why do you think Gambian opposition parties or political entities, are fixed on the opposite? Do you think that they lack the required understanding of how this model works? Or they just don't want to see UDP taking the lead?
They just don't want to see UDP taking the lead, period. And that's why I said Gambians have a penchant for defying what international norms and standards are when it comes to our politics. Otherwise, all over the world, the bigger political party, the smaller political parties rally around the bigger political party to effect change. And when that change comes, the platform becomes the coalition's platform, not the bigger party's platform. And when the time comes for governing, the coalition governs, not the bigger political party. Well, in our case, they basically said, no, UDP, we will not follow you. But UDP, we want your structures, we want your systems, and we want your grassroots mobilization ability to allow us to win an election. And then what happens when that happens? You get kicked. Barrow kicked all of us. And we
So
are
you guys are taking a cue, because I heard Dr. Manneh saying we will not accept what happened in 2016 coalition. So the UDP is taking serious lessons from what prevailed in 2026, Dr. Manneh, if I get you.
Yes, 2016 was an eye-opener for us. We went for a candidate-led, independent, and Barrow became president, and he kicked everybody out. We didn't want to go with him to run for 5 years and a second term and a third term, etc. We said, no, the coalition had some principles that they agreed upon. But he said, well, to hell with those principles, I'm going my way. So he did what he wanted, and nobody could stop him. Mm-hmm. What we are saying is, let's avoid that repeating itself. Let's go for a system where we have a party-led, and the party will be responsible for ensuring that its candidate adheres to what we have agreed. And the coalition will come on top of that also to ensure that the candidate adheres to what we have agreed. And even in addition to that, we said, to make sure that it's going to happen, to make assurances doubly sure, we'll try to include some of those agreements in the new constitution, so that the constitution and the agreements of the coalition are consistent. Because if they are not, the constitution will apply. Because any act of parliament or whatever legislative or regulatory instrument taken in the Gambia, if it's inconsistent with the constitution, it is invalid and null and void to the extent of the divergence from the constitution. So they say now, to make sure that it doesn't happen, whatever key aspects of the coalition agreement there are, we'll make sure that we include them in the 2026 constitution, which will be the new one, or 27 actually it's going to be. The 2020 constitution will bring it back to 2027, and then we pass it in parliament and then go for a referendum. So we say, can include some of those things there. All that to make sure that the coalition candidate will do what is required. And we will make sure that the country is run according to the program of the coalition partners, not the UDP. The UDP will provide the flag bearer and will be responsible to making sure that the flag bearer stays in line with what we've agreed. And we tell them, but more importantly still, we have one of the most recognized and respected political leaders in the country. Ousainou Darboe has been known to stand by his word. He has never moved away from that. I mean, this is a gentleman who has been in the public eye for 53 years as a lawyer, 30 years at the head of the UDP, 2.5 years in government. Nobody has anything to hold against him for having deviated from his word, for not having honored his word, for having embezzled anything or trampled anybody's rights. Nothing, absolutely nothing. If there was that, if that had happened, today would have all been all over the place. The commissions of inquiries, from the Algali Commission to the Janneh Commission, nobody ever pointed a finger at this gentleman. Unless you want an angel to lead the country, I think you need somebody like that.
Okay.
So
to lead the country, we need somebody like lawyer Darboe, according to Dr. Manneh. The UDP is now advocating for a party-led alliance, as I heard from both of you. How would that model work in practice? Because you guys in 2016 went for a candidate-led, and what happened is history today. So how will this model work in practice, UDP-led? Because we have seen smaller political parties coming to join UDP in alliance. We have heard about the PPP guys who, had an issue with the PPP, and now they are back to their original party. That's the Golden Era Party. How are you gonna manage this with smaller parties who are endorsing you ahead of the poll? And how is this model going to work in practice?
Well, the way it's going to work is we have agreed on a format with the PPP on how to run a coalition government and what will be the tenets. We discussed and negotiated a program with them, a contract, sort of. And we will share that same format with the other opposition parties that are coming to join us now, because we have already started forming our own coalition. There are already 4 parties which have come to us to join us in these negotiations, and we believe more are on the way. So we did not even write that contract, that program, that MOU. It was prepared by PPP, and we just modified a few things here and there and went back to them, and they agreed on it. We will share it with the other parties as well to see, well, this is what PPP proposed, this is what we negotiated. Does this work for you? If it doesn't work for you, modify it to the extent you think you see necessary. If it works for you, let's all come together and have one big. So after we consult with everybody, we will get one big document and which we will all agree upon, and we'll have one big MOU to guide our relationship. So that's what's going to govern our relationship as a coalition.
I hope what Barrow did in 2016, if UDP also succeeded, come December 5th, to go to State House as lawyer Darboe as the new president, I hope you guys will not also elbow other parties to be comfortable in the government, and it be 100% UDP government. This is the fear that many other people are also having. Why I ask is that because there are some smaller parties and movement, they prefer candidate-led process with independent vetting. Is there still any realistic path for the UDP to re-engage with those groups, or has the door been closed? I am posing 2 questions at the same time.
Let me just call the first part and let Lare continue with it and the second part. You see, even in 2017, when the coalition just started, when Barrow tried to, when he kicked out my party.
Yeah, he was the first coalition.
Yes, Ousainou Darboe went to him and said, look, this should not happen because we are in a coalition with my party and all the rest. You shouldn't just kick him out without consulting the coalition. Right. But if you do, please allow GMC, that's my party's party, to select somebody else to replace my party. So the coalition agreement holds. Don't just fire him and then give it to somebody else. That's a coalition. So if you fire my party, you shouldn't probably do that. The coalition has an agreement. But if you fire him, allow GMC to select somebody to replace him. So at least that position stays with GMC. But he refused. And in our case, what we are saying is if we go into a coalition with parties and we share responsibilities, because we're talking of sharing responsibilities, not powers, because we are here to work. So the responsibilities of governing the Gambia is what we're going to share. When we share that, you say, Party A, you have Ministry C. if that party's minister does not perform, because you're going to have performance contracts, then that party will select somebody else to replace that minister, so that we stay within the confines of the agreement of the coalition. So nobody gets kicked out just like that. If you will only be removed if you don't perform, but then your party will select somebody else to replace you. But we'll do our best not to remove anybody, because we'll help you along so that you perform the way you're supposed to perform. But if you do not perform, well, then we cannot keep you. Well, then we ask your party to replace you with somebody else. So these are the sort of things we want to do to ensure that everybody stays on board, everybody gets the responsibilities they have, and then we continue as a team. I think that should reassure everybody.
Lamin, before I go to Lare for that question, most of these MOUs are just documents. They are not legally binding. This is why Barrow did not care to trust the 2016 coalition MOU. And then, as part of the MOU agreement is to make sure that before you fire or remove someone, you have to consult the coalition partners. And this has never happened because, Barrow believed that the MOU is just a paper that he can play with.
But UDP doesn't believe that. UDP believes that if we give our word, you can take that to the bank. That is who we are. Our word is our bond. If you give our word, we will honor that word. We will never tell you something like Barrow says, you say in campaign what you want, when you govern, you do what you like. No, that's dishonest. For us, if we do not agree with something, we tell you upfront. But if we agree, we stick to our word, we honor our word. And that is our trademark. So we will not tell anybody we're going to do this, and then when we get to government, we do not. No, Mr. Dabo is a lawyer, and these MOUs are contracts between people. We call them lex specialists. That is special laws. A contract is a special law which replaces the positive laws, as long as it doesn't go against public policy, as long as it doesn't go against the Constitution. And that's why we say whatever we do as a coalition, we must make sure it's consistent with the Constitution. So this is what we want to do, to make sure that whatever agreement we take will be implemented by everybody in the coalition, starting with UDP if we become the coalition party leader. So we will make sure that our word is honored and respected to the fullest, because that's the only way we can work together. If you cannot trust each other, then we're not a team. And we need to build a strong team where we can all believe in each other's word, because we're going to find a very difficult condition in this country come 2027. This government is going to live as a catastrophe. And we've got to be able to manage that and to pull the Gambia out of that trench and move it to somewhere where we can all feel proud. That means building a strong team where people can believe each other's word, where they can count on each other, know that I have your back, you have my back. And that is what the UDP is all about. So we will not betray our word to anybody.
Okay. I will come to Lare Sisay about that, because Mr. Manneh raised a very important point, because the MOU we have seen, Barrow play with it. So probably from experience, UDP is putting in measures to ensure that nobody dare or play. Should you come together even if small parties come together, to join you to form an alliance, as we are seeing and will continue to see from look of things, because the oppositions have lost a major, I will say another key opposition, because he came third during the last presidential election. That's Mama Kande. Will discuss about that. But let me ask you this, Lare. So, is UDP door still open to smaller parties or movement who believe that candidate-led is the solution? Are you going to persuade them? Because critics believe, and this is possibly a reality, that without a united opposition front, it will be a very serious challenge for opposition to win against Adama Barrow. Are your doors open to the smaller parties who believe candidate-led, or you are good to go with those who believe in party-led? Mr. Sisay.
Seni, thank you. The kind of agreement that PPP prepared, that we tweaked just a little bit here and there, but by and large, the agreement was agreed to in its entirety. And let me address these two issues around that. Issue number one is smaller parties being swallowed by the bigger party. That agreement was very clear. UDP or the coalition will work to make sure that the smaller parties grow. You cannot be in a coalition with a party that is smaller than you, and you keep insisting that party does not grow to challenge you eventually for power. That's a no-go area for us. The second no-go area is our doors are never shut.
And
We prefer...
Lare, if you just allow me, sorry, just 1 second, and to buttress what you said there, the idea that we make sure that small parties grow, we UDP are the ones that added that to the agreement that was proposed by PPP.
Yeah.
We added that we'll ensure that the smaller parties grow. So to show you how much we care for the smaller parties.
How do you ensure smaller parties grow in the face of a mighty political party like the UDP, who critics believe want to control everything? They don't even respect those smaller parties, and you guys alone can do this job.
Steny.
I'm sorry to Lare, but Lare will handle it if he wants. But one of the ways we want to do that is to ensure that, for example, for parliamentary elections, we will share the seats among the members of the coalition. But I would insist more. I will let Lare continue with his explanation. Sorry about that.
Okay, Mr. Sisay, go ahead.
No, Lamin has taken off where I wanted to start. Those who say UDP wants to take it all, they forgot that in the 2022 parliamentary elections, UDP could have won Serekunda West. And UDP chose not to put up a candidate to oppose Khalifa Saleh. People forgot that. We did not put up a candidate in Serekunda West so Khalifa can go to the National Assembly. That is because
of then the so-called tactical alliance, right?
Yes. So what we are saying, the critics will always criticize you because of their biases. But anybody who knows UDP, we've always operated on the basis that if Party A has more strength in area A, nobody should challenge the Party A to win that area A. This is what UDP's tactical alliance strategy has always been. Now, for us to say, if you are a smaller party, don't worry about us swallowing you. We have no intention of swallowing anybody. We have every intention of helping everybody grow so that we can have a vibrant, challenging, democratic environment. We don't want dominance. We've seen dominance in terms of Yahya Jammeh and his government. We are seeing dominance by Adama Barrow. We want a vibrant democracy. And a vibrant democracy cannot be put into a country when you have one party swallowing everybody. You just saw the day before yesterday.
Lare, I don't want to cut you short there, but this is the fear of many, especially political analysts, that we are heading in a crisis situation politically because the incumbent Adama Barrow has, bring in a lot of opposition parties to join his alliance. Right now, he has almost 17 coalition partners. And you remember when Mama Kande went to State House on Wednesday, we had Barrow extending hand to Usainu Dabo, his political father, that he should come and join. And a political analyst told me, Mr. Marina, if that happened, that will be end of multi-party democracy in the Gambia, because the UDP is the only political party right now that is, not moved or shake by Adama Barrow's goal to have all the opposition parties under his alliance. Is the UDP
Steny, everything we are seeing Adama Barrow do is to ensure that he self-perpetuates. B, he creates a one-party state. If he had his way, he will swallow all the political parties.
So do you think that that's a deliberate attempt, or?
Of course. Of course, it's a deliberate attempt, but we will answer Mr. President. Mr. President, we are not coming to join you. We are going to defeat you.
Are you speaking on behalf of Lare, Sisay, or lawyer Hussein? Because Barrow didn't call you. Barrow didn't call you by your name. He said, "My father, come back. You are the only person outside. Come back to where to us. Let's build the country."
You know, Seni, even Barrow calling Hussein Dabo his father is insulting. You do not disrespect your father. You do not destroy your father's house. So, Mr. President, Dabo is not coming. UDP is not coming. We are going to defeat you, and we are going to make so multi-party democracy grows in the Gambia. No one party should be dominant enough to self-perpetuate.
Okay, we had that's Mr. Sisay. He said, "Okay, go ahead, Dr. Manneh. Go ahead."
No, I just said that's well said by Lare. That's well said. That's all I wanted to add.
You are always in agreement with Lare, you know. So you know. Anyway, Dr. Manneh, there is a concern. There is a concern that a divided opposition will hand President Adama Barrow an easier path to a third term. How does the UDP assess the risk of vote splitting and what it is doing to minimize that risk?
Look, we are telling the country that with or without a coalition, we'll defeat Barrow. But we want to do it a bigger way with a coalition. It is realistic. Look, we are not political optimists or whatever. We are political realists. We look at what's on the ground.
But Mr. Manneh, you are losing bases. You know, you are having splinter parties coming from the UDP, and this is a reality that this is going to affect your numbers. You know, this is a reality.
Seni, you are peddling a false narrative.
Seni,
No. Despite the fact that you are still the biggest political party, you know, having others splitting from your party will have electoral consequences, Mr. Sisay. Don't you think that's just a fact?
You know what is a fact?
No, it's not.
You know what is a fact? From December 5, stand and UDP stand, you see what I'm talking about.
Okay, I will tell in 4 months' time.
Wait, there is a false narrative going on.
Yeah.
The false narrative is that NPP splintered from UDP.
Yes.
Other parties, UMC splintered from UDP.
Yeah.
Now, if there are free, fair, transparent elections, NPP could not have won 2021. And our petition showed it.
And you still have that belief?
We still have that belief. In fact, we believe our margin of victory would have been increased. So those who are peddling this idea that UDP is depleting its base, our base hasn't gone anywhere, and we are increasing that base. Those who are splintering are facing the consequences on the ground. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay, your opponent said, in fact, this election is not even between father and son, it's between Talib Bensouda and Adama Barrow. Dr. Manneh, what's your charge on that?
Yeah, that's daydreaming. That's daydreaming, and they're entitled to dream. This election is clearly a referendum against Barrow, and a referendum led by UDP, and we will win that referendum. You see, our base has grown. The number of people who are leaving the Barrow coalition to join us are increasing every day. We are going today to places where we couldn't even hold meetings before. Those people are calling us, say, come have a meeting here. We have been fooled for a long time. And now we know that what you said, what is the truth, and what they said about you is not true. We have seen the light ourselves. These people are calling us to come have a meeting with them. And we are meeting with them, and we are growing our base everywhere. You see it all over social media. You see it in places. Some of the places you don't even announce anymore because they say when you are we sorry?
Are you meeting other smaller movements and parties to join the UDP? Because we understand that there is a conversation currently ongoing among UDP and other smaller parties. Can you confirm this?
Oh, yes, yes. Yes, we are in coalition talks with other parties. And we are, the number is growing every day. I guess we will have at least 6 other parties joining UDP to form a coalition. So the number is growing and people are coming, and we are, you see, because we want to have a group of people who are like-minded, who are determined to change this country, who are patriotic, who have integrity. Because what we're going to find in this country after these elections is going to be a huge, huge hole. We have to be able to make up for that very quickly. This country is in a mess. So we will have to have a very good government that will hit the ground running, and we will fight extremely hard to bring the country back from the abyss. We are looking at an abyss right now, standing on the edge of an abyss. We've got to be able to pull the country back from that, and that requires a team that is resolute in its way to move the country forward, that is united as a team, and we have each other's back, and we're going to fight to change this country. And we are getting that. And these are the people who we want to bring together in a big coalition and go out there and beat handsomely and then move forward. A handsome victory. And we're going to get that.
Okay.
And once that happens,
Lare, you want to comment?
You will see that even those who today are against us would want to come and join. Because we want to build a country where we're going to unite the country. But we're not going to go with people who are going to be fighting us all the way and throwing spanners into the works. We want to have some form of unity. Democracy doesn't mean everybody is conformist and we all believe the same thing. No. You say Lare and I agree all the time. Yes. But because we discuss all of these issues, we agree and disagree, and we can get to a point we agree. Because we don't have any taboo. We can discuss anything. We agree and disagree. But most of the time we end up agreeing because we look at these things the same way, dispassionately, and in a way that is consistent with reality. So other parties will come and join us, I'm sure, even after the coalition ends. Because people will know that this is a group of people who are bent on changing the situation of Gambians, who want to make a big difference, and who are already making a difference. Because we say that when we come to power, the Gambians will say, why didn't we do this earlier? Why didn't we confer the realm of the country to UDP, the reins of the country to UDP since a long time ago?
You guys tested power for 2 years, and people say you're supposed to do certain things. You never do that. You were in power for 2 years.
Sorry, you're breaking a lot. I didn't get that.
No, I will get it. I will get it. Seni, stop peddling those false narratives.
No.
The line was breaking. I didn't get it.
These are genuine concerns, you know. These are genuine concerns. I'm relaying those ones. They said you have been in power for 2 years. You have the opportunity to change, but you didn't.
And I'm saying to you, you are peddling a false narrative.
No, we were not in power. We were not in power.
You were a majority in the coalition government.
In that government.
We are not the majority.
No, we had only 3 ministers
in that government.
Only 3.
How can 3 be a majority?
Only 3 ministers in that government.
Member cabinet. So it's a false narrative.
We had only 3 ministers. Hussein Amadou Sane and Lamin Dambudiba. That's all. So we are not the majority. We are a very small minority. And even those ministers, their decisions have to be approved by Barrow. Barrow was the president. And you heard Barrow, he said very early in 2017, Sidinjai and Fabakary Tombong Jatta went to him and said, kick out UDP so we can work with you. So since 2017, this man was fighting against UDP.
So what will make a UDP government different from, NPP government? Because Barrow is a former member of the United Democratic Party, even though, the UDP believe he is not aligning with what their core principles. What will make the UDP government different?
Jenny, if you were to open your lines to UDP members, they will cuss you out for comparing UDP to NPP and Barrow. It's
a question. I'm asking what will make it different. Yeah.
What will make it different is what we've been talking since we came on this program. A, we want a coalition that is built on honesty, fairness, and integrity, which we don't have. B, we want a government that is going to fight corruption so that Gambians can lay their hands on the resources that they are entitled to, not perpetuate a bourgeois system that only caters to the whims and caprices of just a few people. 3, we want a government that is going to be aligned with the Constitution. Nothing that we do will be antithetical to the Constitution. And 4, we want a people-centered development process so this country can be transformed and taken to a level that we can be proud of. There was some debate around just 2 weeks ago when Bassirou Diomaye Faye of Senegal was designated chairperson of ECOWAS. There was a lot of noise made on that. People are saying, why are they bypassing Barrow? They are not bypassing Barrow. Barrow had to express an interest to be chairperson of ECOWAS.
So he has never expressed an interest, right?
He has never, to the best of our knowledge, he has never expressed that. But also, when you become chairman of a sub-regional organization, you have to have the intellectual muscle to articulate a vision. And that vision is not there. End of story.
Okay. That vision is not there for Barrow, and the UDP will be a different political party. Dr. Manneh, beyond the question of who leads the ticket, what are the most substantive policy priorities the UDP want any opposition alliance or a UDP government to prioritize in your first 100 days in office? Because you are very optimistic of a UDP-led government come December 5th, 2026.
Absolutely. We are not only optimistic, but we know that we're going to win these elections. What we're going to achieve in the first 100 days, in the first 6 months, in the first year, etc. You see, today, for example, in the area of electricity, we are in a serious difficulty. The country is reeling from the effects of lack of power supply in the country on a constant and stable basis. So part of that is essentially because we don't have the generation capacity. We have to go get the power from outside.
Yeah.
And even the power we get from outside, we cannot pay because of the corruption in Norway. Now, we in the short term have to be able to pay back the loans owed by Norway. And that is, Norway is becoming a black hole there. The money just goes and never comes out. But unfortunately, we still have to put some more money in there to be able to pay at least the debts they owe so that we can have stable power supply from Senegal and Guinea, OMVG, until we can build up our own generation capacity very quickly. So we will do that. So the governments will have electricity. There is no development, no investment if you don't have power supply, a reliable and affordable power supply. So that will be a priority for us straight away. But in addition to whilst we're doing that, we're going to focus on other aspects. Another key aspect we are going to focus on very quickly is security in this country. No investor will come if you don't have security. The Gambians will not be able to go about their business and live normally if they don't have security. We're going to immediately beef up security to make sure that people can live a normal life. When you get those two out of the way, now you look at the other things, agriculture. But if even for agriculture, our education out of our youth, we'll start working on the schools immediately to make sure that our kids can have access to education and good education and affordable education. And for the kids who are going to university today, if you don't come from a wealthy family, you cannot go to university, only have somebody in the diaspora paying for you. An average university tuition in the Gambia is about $40,000 to $50,000 a year. How can a poor person pay for that? The government has to be able to put in place scholarships. And you can see the example for us in Brikama Area Council. Yankuba Dabo is giving so many scholarships to those kids from a council. Imagine if you control government. How many kids can we give scholarships to? to be able to go to school normally, the poor kids, and have a fighting chance. Their parents cannot pay for school, but they deserve a fighting chance. They are Gambians. We will make sure that we get them scholarships to go to school and have a fighting chance. We will make sure that we set up financial institutions that are going to help them. Those who cannot be employed by the state, we provide for them funding to be able to start their own businesses in any sector they want. And we mentor them, we follow them up, and we make sure that they thrive. When they do, they will employ other Gambians, etc. The health sector is another area which is critically handicapped today. We have to go in there and make sure that our Gambian citizens can get proper health care and affordable health care. Some of these hospitals don't even have scanners. They don't have X-ray machines. They don't have the most simple and most basic facilities and medication.
Seni.
Yeah.
Apparently, you see how.
Am I still with you? It looks like I'm losing
yes. Dr.
Me?
Manneh, you are still with us. Lare just come in. You can finish, and then Lare will chip in.
Okay. So I will just leave it at that and say the other sectors which will have very quick impact on concerns, ICT, etc. But I wouldn't go any further. But there are other areas also which the coalition members will bring in, and we will build on that and move forward. But these are some key areas where we will put emphasis in the first 3 months to 6 months and move forward. But Larry will take it up from there.
Okay. Mr. Sisay, go ahead,
Seni, you see, I was telling you, his internet is freezing. and you know why it is freezing? Because NAWEC is not giving enough power. There are power surges. I can feel the same thing here. That's how low standard your country has become. Now, he talked about health, education, agriculture, ICT. I just went to the fish market today to buy fish. Fish has become a luxury for most Gambians, even Bonga. Gambians cannot afford fish anymore. And you know what Senegal has done when the government came in place? Within 6 months, they liberalized the fishing industry. They focused on national production, processing, and marketing. And they suspended or even canceled fishing licenses that were given to foreigners. Fish is so cheap in Senegal now. Our people around North Bank, they go, I get fish from Balengo. Balengo gets their fish from Senegal and Mauritania. That is cheaper than Gambian fish now. How do you explain that to average Gambians? I went to the fish market today. I saw a lady, she had $600 to shop for the day. And she wanted the 3 lady fish, medium size, not even big size, medium size. And they told him it was $650. She looked at herself and said, $650, but I have 600. And the lady that was selling the fish said to her, I can give you a smaller lady fish and 1 or 2 small red snappers.
Yeah.
How much is that? The lady says 450. The lady looks again and says, okay, I pay 450 for this. I'll have $150 left. I cannot even buy oil with that or onions or whatever. So she looked at me. She says, Uncle, how do you survive in an environment like this? I said, vote Barrow and NPP out. We'll make you survive. That is how serious things are. The cost of living in this country is not a laughing matter. It's a very serious matter. Affordability. People cannot afford anything anymore. And when you go to the hospitals, like Lamin was saying, at most, they will give you a drip. At the least, if you want paracetamol, you go and buy it from outside. They will actually tell you which pharmacy has the paracetamol to buy from. So we have an affordability issue in this country that has transcended anything we have seen before. People are going to bed hungry. And you guys are sitting and telling us, well, they are powerful, they will do this, they will do that. You wait until the 5th of December and see what Gambians will do to these people. We keep telling you, if the elections are free, fair, and transparent, Barrow doesn't stand a chance. And we have proven it in our petition to the Supreme Court. We have also proven it in all the subsequent elections he has lost.
Mr. Sisay, you lost one of your opposition coalition partners to Barrow, and observers or political analysts argue this has solidified Barrow. That is Mama Kande. Do you think Mama Kande joining forces with Barrow will make the opposition lose this election?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Reasons? You know why I don't think so?
Yeah.
Barrow has been very consistent in chipping at Mama Kande's base. He has chipped it.
Okay.
He has chipped at Mama Kande's base to a point where I am sure Mama Kande must have realized I don't stand a chance if I stand alone. So, when you look at the scheme of things, who does he align himself with? Obviously, Barrow, because he went to Barrow. But it's not because we have not engaged him. It's not because his people were not active in these coalition talks. Well, the analogy I want to give.
Yeah, that's the question I wanted to ask you.
Just wait.
Okay,
go
ahead.
Just wait. The analogy I want to give you, I will land and then you can continue your question. The analogy I want to give was that did Idrissa Seck in last minute align himself with Macky Sall in Senegal?
Very well. In Senegal,
what happened to him? What happened?
He was fired and dismissed.
He is still in the political wilderness. I am predicting the same thing in this alliance that we saw last week.
Is the UDP moved by that alliance?
No, we are not moved by it. In fact, we expected it. We anticipated it. All the signs are there that this alliance was going to happen.
Don't you think that don't you think that it's also a kind of I want to frame it this way. Mama Kande was talking with you guys, the opposition, and I even had information that the UDP and Mama Kande were in conversation with regards to a possible coalition. But another source also said, and this was confirmed by Barrow when Mama Kande officially joined him last Wednesday, that Mama was talking with him on the whole. At the same time, Mama's GDC were in conversation with opposition coalition. Don't you think this is a betrayal or dishonesty from the GDC side? Talking to
I will let Lamin answer because Lamin was the one who was intimately involved with the Mama Kande side. Me, I am a Fulani Mama Ringo. I saw Mama Kande coming and kicking us, and so I didn't get myself involved in that.
Okay, Dr. Manneh, Dr. Manneh, go ahead. We got reports that you, Dr. Manneh, in fact met, Mama Kande. You had conversation with him. All geared towards rescuing the Gambia from Barrow's third term. Do you felt betrayed by his recent action to join Barrow? Lamin, you are mute. Remove your mute. You are mute. Take your mute out.
Well, sorry about that. I forgot to unmute it. Yeah. No, sorry about that. I would say I was disappointed because I saw him as a consistent political leader. Because in 2021, when we lost when we were cheated out of victory, he came and stood with us and said, "You were cheated out of victory." And since then, he has never wavered. He stayed on the same point. And I respect that very much. I respect consistency. And I met him a couple of times to discuss these coalition issues. And each time he was a real charming guy, very gentlemanly, and had very good discussions. And, it was clear to me at the point, at least I thought that he was going to go with us. And we continued talking during this coalition phase. He even came to one of our coalition meetings, and we had a whole day with him there. So whilst we were negotiating with him there and his team, he was negotiating with Barrow. That's unethical. I was disappointed by that. I don't think you should be doing that. Not even 1 month, maybe 2-3 weeks ago, when we are still in this quagmire, I went to him and said, look, I think this coalition is not going anywhere. Maybe you and Hussein Uda was the two big head of the two biggest parties in this coalition talks. Yeah. If you were to sit and discuss amongst yourself and bring in other party leaders, maybe we can have a way forward very quickly, and you chart a course and you move forward. What do you think about that? And he said to me, I'm going up country to negotiate with my people, to discuss with them, to see which way we are going. When I come back, I'll get back to you. I never heard from him. The last thing I heard was that he moved to NPP. So for me, that was a disappointment, because I wouldn't say I have a lot of respect for this gentleman, because I thought he was consistent. I thought he was a man of his word. I thought that he would do what he said he would do. He has the right to his political opinion, and he can move anywhere he wanted. I don't dispute that. That is entirely his right. Like any other Gambian, you can move to where you want to. We have no issues with that. But the fact that he was talking to us, telling us one thing and doing another thing with NPP, that was a disappointment for me. I would have thought he would say, look, maybe you guys give me time. I've not made up my mind yet. I'm thinking which way to go. I would have respected that too. But talking to us in the coalition, we fought. We fought to have the coalition talks in his hotel. Because we said, if you're going to have this coalition talks, let's have it in the hotel run by one of our own. Because we saw him as one of our own, opposition parties and talking together. Instead of going to pay the money somewhere else, let's finance our own. Give them the support they need. So we fought to have the coalition talks in his hotel. And out of the 15 sessions held, 12 were in his hotel. To show the solidarity we are showing to him, I thought he should have reciprocated that by being true to us, not saying one thing and doing the opposite.
Did you see any genuine commitment from Mama from your interaction with him? Because this is a guy, according to what you said, you respect him and you believe that he believed in what he was pursuing.
Yes, I did. I did saw a commitment from him. I saw what I thought was sincerity in what he wanted to do with us. I saw that. Well, I thought I saw that. Now, evidently, I was wrong. But I thought I saw that sincerity. I met with him a couple of times. One was even with Hussein Uda. We met with him. And I thought I had a sincerity there. I was wrong.
Are you disappointed?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed because this is somebody I thought was one of the decent political figures in the country. Because for a long time, people have been saying he's going to go. When people said, no, I don't think he'll go. He has had ample opportunities to go. He didn't go. Go now when Barrow is losing? Barrow has 4 months in power. Why would you want to go and join a sinking ship? For me, it defies logic. Why now? Why didn't you do it before when Barrow was there?
Uncle Lare seems to have his own red flag. Mr. Sisay, did you at any time raise a red flag after hearing the news that Mama is going, he will not go, he's going, he will not go until last week? Because you are claiming to be a nephew to the Fullers, so...
A grandchild for the Fullers. A grandchild for the Fullers. No, saying
okay.
I've been flagging this. I said, like Lamin, I thought Mama Kande was very consistent in his positions. He was very consistent in his pronouncements, and he was very consistent in terms of speaking out on where he wants to see the Gambia. Until his last summer meeting, I think he had a congress in summer. Yeah. He spoke about the IEC and all of that. I clapped. But then I went home to Kudang, and I went to some of the villages. You know, when you
It
leave
seems there
Kudang,
is a noise coming from one of you, a background noise.
I think that is Lamin Manneh. Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
I after that summer meeting, I was in the Combos. Then I went to Kudang. I spent about 10 days there, and I went around and spoke to certain hamlets, villages around Kudang, between Kudang and Yida, and then between Kudang and Nana and Gawar. That's when I realized that this guy is on the threshold of going. But I was not brave enough to say it to anybody.
Yeah.
Except my small circle, which included Lamin Manneh. I basically said, I don't trust these people anymore. And I don't trust them because politics has become a personal enterprise in this country. And when people talk, they talk in terms of, no, I'm not going to do what other people are doing. But they end up doing exactly that. So I felt politics has become an enterprise, an entrepreneurship thing. And nothing that our political leaders do surprises me. If this was Useno, I would have been surprised. But I have to say, I am not surprised at the turn of events with regard to Mama Kande and NPP. And I will not be surprised if other political leaders also joined Barrow. But I can say with relative certainty, whoever aligns with him will be crying on the 5th of December. It's guaranteed.
Absolutely. Mr. Sisay, I know this conversation is so interesting, and then you guys were in another interview. We are left with just 10, 15 minutes to round it up. But I have a question for Mr. Manneh. Mr. Manneh, credibility of the electoral process is already been debated, including issues around voter register. How central is the electoral integrity to the UDP strategy, and what concrete step is the party taking on that front?
Yeah, thank you. But just before I give me just a second to confirm what Lare said.
Okay.
He did tell me that he thinks Mamakanda is going to go. He did tell me that, and I said, Lare, I think he's going to stay. And I was wrong. And even I had an interview on Monday with all the radio stations, Askani Gambia. They told me the same thing, also Tuesday. So like, I'll wait until I hear this. I'll be careful because I don't think he will go. Honestly, I was surprised. So yeah, I just wanted to confirm that Larry did have his misgivings, and he told me, and I told him no. As you say, we agree on everything. We did agree on that.
Larry,
I said no, I don't think he will go, and I was wrong.
That red flag? How do you know?
But
your instincts tell you?
No, nobody told me anything. It was my political instinct,
okay.
But more in terms of where he was going, who he was talking to. That's what gave me the red flag, and that's why as early as May, I was telling Lamin Manneh and the small group, this guy is ready to go. And don't ask me how I knew. This is the fuller blood in me.
Anyway, Manneh must have confirmed that you must possess some high-level intelligence to know that Mama will finally go to Barrow. So, Mr. Manneh, I talk about the credibility of the...
So yes, right. And we know what happened in 2021. And we said we will make sure that doesn't repeat itself again. So from December 2021, we started working on the technological instruments that will allow us to prevent any more cheating in this country. And we have been working on that since then, and we have more or less perfected our system. And this is what allowed us to pick up the things we picked up in the supplementary voter registration lists. We saw what went wrong, and we called the attention of IEC. We ended up having a press conference about it because we saw what went wrong. And we are going to continue doing that. We have what it takes to control the elections, to control the voting process, to control what's happening around there. Control in the sense that we're going to check every single thing, and we're not going to take anything for granted. And the results, which are going to come out of this
elections are not rich on election day. Processes leading to elections like registration, voters registration are moments when elections are have been cheated. From experience, what measures are you putting in place? Because a lot of people are surprised how UDP is able to pinpoint some of these electoral malpractices until the IEC has to come back and clarify that, hey, yes, what the UDP is saying is true. How are you able to do this? You know, amid all this political, brouhaha, going on. You know, a lot of things are happening at the same time, but the UDP look very focused to make sure that there is credibility of the electoral process. How are you able to pinpoint this?
Because we put in place a technological system and software that allow us to control everything that's happening around the IEC and the voter register. Because that is what facilitated the cheating in 2021. And that's how they cheated us out of victory in 2021. And we took our case to the Supreme Court with ample evidence. And the Supreme Court refused to consider the case. And we said, okay, you cheated us out of victory and Supreme Court supported you. This will not happen again. We will make sure that our victory is no longer stolen and we don't need to go to Supreme Court because we don't trust it. So we started working.
Lamin, you are still in a very strong feeling that you won the 2021 elections. Is that position remain the same?
Yes, we did. Absolutely the same, because evidence is there. Incontrovertible evidence. We have it. And we submitted it. And the Supreme Court didn't consider it. And we got the database of 2021. After a lot of fighting, we couldn't lay hands on the electoral register for a very long time. We got it. We went into it again with a fine comb. We checked everything. We checked what happened in there. We checked what went wrong. And that confirmed what we took to the Supreme Court, and we found even more evidence after that Supreme Court petition. So we said this is not going to happen again. So we started working on that. If you look at the electoral register, for example, you saw people who were registered at 3 in the morning, 5 in the morning, 7 at night, 11 at night, when the voting stations were closed. People who were registered before the electoral process started. People who were registered after it started. We had people in there who were 129 years old. Where did they come from? We had people who saw them in the pictures, that this guy could be more than 13, 14 years. And they were given 20, 25 years in the. So we saw all of those things. We saw people registered at exactly the same time in polling station A, for example. Say it's a Bijilo or Kersering Mosque. You have 2, 3 people registered at exactly the same time. No way. Let's say 8 o'clock, 20 minutes and 14 seconds. It's not possible. Technologically, it's not possible. Humanly, it's not possible. We saw all of those irregularities. So we made sure that what we have now will not allow anybody to cheat. And we have put in place a system which will allow us to get all the results of the elections immediately the counting is completed, and it will be sent to us and be in our database, and we will publish it. And we will make sure that by the time they take the results to the collation centers, we have already given the results. And our people in the collation centers will have those results, and nobody will give them false information anymore. So what is cast is what will be counted. In 2021, a lot of people did not cast the votes, and they were still added to the results. The IEC was cooking the results. We were sitting in our command center until 10:30, and we were winning big. All of a sudden, it stopped for almost 5-6 hours. They were cooking the results. And when it came out, the disaster was done. That will not happen again. Because now by 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, at the very latest, we will announce the winner of the elections. IEC will proclaim it. That's their
But
right.
IEC
But we will
is the
announce the winner.
official body mandated by the law to announce elections. You can't announce elections as a party.
No. To proclaim the results. Proclaim the results, we will announce. You know why? The day they voted the spot count, the act which authorized spot counting, from that day, every Gambian is entitled to publish it. From that day, every Gambian is entitled to publish results, because all the results are counted on the spot and published in the different polling stations. All you need to do is just collate them and publish the results. It's public knowledge and public documentation from the time the counting is completed. So IEC has no monopoly on that. They proclaim the results, but we will announce the winner. And we did that in Masembe and Kiankayaf. We announced the winner before IEC. And when they announced it, there was in 1 vote difference between us, because we all have the same raw material, the same election result slip. So what we have is what they have. So we have put in place what it takes to make sure that nobody cheats us out of victory again. We will not go for that again. So we don't have to go to the Supreme Court again and wonder whether they will, uphold the law or not. No, we will pronounce the results before. IEC can proclaim it afterwards. The declaration of the results.
Do you
have? That is IEC. The announcement is up to every Gambian. We all have the right to do that. And we will. You see, 2021, we had a 90% turnout. That didn't happen even in the Soviet Union. It didn't happen in those days, let alone in a democracy. 90% turnout. That's just the example that confirms the cheating in itself.
Dr. Manneh,
do you... 80% turnout in any democracy anywhere, let alone 90%. If you get 65, you are happy. Turnout in.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. No. I'm listening. I have a question for you. Do you believe?
I didn't get that.
Or do you have confidence that the Independent Electoral Commission, under the new chairmanship of Joe Colley, will conduct free, fair, and credible election for the Gambia? From your assessment, with all what is happening.
No, I didn't say that. I said they are going the right way now. They are heading in the right direction.
I'm asking a
what we have seen so far.
I'm asking a question whether you believe they will be able to conduct a free, fair, and credible election come December 5th.
Yes, they can if they want to. If they want to, they can, and I hope they will. And they have been showing us signs that they probably will go that way.
Okay.
Because so far, what we have seen, they have been doing a fairly good job. Where things went wrong, we went to them, we sat and we sorted them out. So by the time we go to election, we will be ready.
Okay.
And they know we are ready. We sat with them, we show them what we have, and we discuss things, we know what we have. So if they don't want any conflict with the Gambian population, they'll do the right thing. And Joe Colley said that now we have monthly meetings with the IEC, all the stakeholders. He said, I want to leave this election in peace, not in pieces. That's why his words. So he said he's going to do his utmost to make sure these elections are free, fair, and credible.
Okay.
That's all we're asking for.
Okay.
And that's what we're working together with them for. And so far, give credit where credit is due. They have been listening to us, and we've been discussing, we've been reaching agreement. Let's hope it continues that way, and the elections are hopefully and fair.
Okay.
It's possible.
Okay.
It's possible.
Mr. Sisay, you are selling your candidate around. You package your candidate, that's His Excellency Lawyer Dabo, as a one-time candidate. Should he win the election? Really, one time?
We are not packaging him as a one-term candidate. He's been consistently saying that he wanted to serve 1 5-year term since 1996.
No, Mr. Sisay, we have had politicians make comments like that. Barrow said he's going to serve for 3 years, and he's going into 15 years now. You don't want me
Seni,
to compare. You
you're
don't want
going
me
to
to
have
compare
to.
the NPP and the UDP, but I have to. Because politicians say this today and tomorrow they say something different. You all told me that you had a conversation with Mama Kande, and you believe that Mama Kande will be, with the opposition. And at the end of the day, where is Mama Kande? He joined forces with Barrow. So do you think that Lawyer Dabo will honor one term? Should he be elected as the president come December 5th,
I would
2026?
have, I would have answered your question if you had allowed me to finish my line of thinking.
Okay, go ahead.
You cut me
My
off.
my apologies
What,
for that.
what I'm trying to say is what we've been saying throughout
Okay.
this show. Please don't compare us with Mama Kande. Don't compare us with Adama Barrow. We are much more consistent than that, and you, Seni Marena, knows that. So
But
what
you are
Mama
all
Kande
political
does,
parties and you have bases.
what Mama Kande does is Mama Kande's business. What Barrow does, Barrow keeps telling people, I can come to you, ask you to vote for me, promise you the moon and the sun. When I win, I'll go out and do something totally different. We are saying UDP has been consistent in all of the elections that we have won. Local government elections particularly, because that is the metrics we can go by now.
Mm-hmm.
Everything we say we will do, we have done. And we are also saying Ousainou Darboe being in the public eye for 53 years, and nobody has said once that you told me this and you did not do it, or you promised me this and you did not do it. Not once has it happened. So if he says from the time he led this party in 1996 that he wants one term, you have to take him for his word. But if you don't take him for his word, they say Lamin, Manneh and I are the problems in UDP. We are going to hold our leaders accountable just as we are holding opposition, just as we are holding Adama Barrow accountable. Gambians can count on that.
Okay. Dr. Manneh, we are almost at the tail end of this interview. With roughly 4 months to go, what is the UDP message to other opposition parties and to ordinary Gambians who want change, but they are frustrated by lack of unity among the opposition parties? Dr.
Two
Manneh.
things. We tell them that two things. We say that UDP is consistent and our word is our bond. What we promise, we will deliver.
Okay.
We won't promise one thing today and do something different tomorrow.
Okay.
We have too much integrity for that. Two, we believe that the opposition parties that are really fighting for this country will come together with UDP in a coalition and we go and win these elections. Okay. Because we know that the country is in a very bad situation and we have to salvage it. We are here for this country. You see, people say politicians are not truthful, they're not consistent. No, there are bad people who come into politics and try to make politics look dirty. But politics is very noble. It's fighting for your country and for your countrymen and to make it life better for everybody. Trust me, it's a lot of hard work. 5 years, Lare and I, we never took any leave. There are other people in the party in the same way. Yeah. But because I work with him consistently, I can tell you that 5 years here and I didn't take any leave. We have been insulted, we've been called names and everything. We developed thick skins. We don't care about that. You can say whatever you like about us. Because we want to fight for this country. And there are other people here who want to fight for this country like that. And I can tell you, you will see a coalition between UDP and those parties. We come together and we fight for this country to salvage it. And we will deliver for this country. And Gambians, trust us. We will do what is required. Otherwise, we will be out there doing other things. We can all join Adama Barrow. We can go to different, but we do not want to do that. We believe that we have to give back to this country. We became what we became because of the Gambia. The Gambia made us what we are today. And we want to give back to that country so that other Gambians coming after us from poor or rich families can have the same opportunity, the same fighting chances like that we had. And it is possible. If they could do it in Jawara states in the 70s and 80s, why can't we do it now that we have more resources and more possibilities? This is what we're fighting for the average Gambian to be able to put his kids through school and get the best education possible and have a fighting chance, poor or rich. And we're going to deliver this for the Gambia. We're going to deliver proper food, proper electricity, proper healthcare, etc. We're going to deliver. And anybody who comes into government with us will deliver as well.
More importantly, Seni, in order for us to deliver all of that, we have to have an honest government and an honest leadership. If we don't have that, we are not going to achieve anything. Seni, you and I have worked collaboratively for a long time when you were in exile, when you initially went into exile. You know that.
Yes.
And you know what transpired.
Right.
I am telling Gambians that, as Lamin was saying, I got to where I got to in the UN system because I had a good educational foundation from the Gambia. And it was that good educational foundation that gave me the fighting chance to compete with the very best in the world, and came out fairly relatively well, if you know what I mean, because these international jobs are competitive. At our professional level, not the appointive level, at the professional levels. So Gambians can count on three things, as Lamin says. We want to bring honesty into our government. And in order to bring honesty into our government, we have to stop this corruption, or maybe even curb it to minimum levels, because the corruption in this country is systemic and it is entrenched. Only a transformative agenda can uproot this corruption that we are seeing. Secondly, people believe that when you get into politics, it's the shortest cut to being rich and famous. We want to stop that. We want to say you can go into politics as a public service, not to exert resources from it, not to enrich yourself, and not to become a self-aggrandized individual because politics made you who you are. Gambians can trust us for that. Now, those who know us, those who have dealt with us, you have, at least with me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now,
absolutely. I remember in 2016, 2015, 2014. Yeah.
If I tell you my heart is with this country, Lamin just finished telling you the same thing. What about Hussein, who was arrested, tortured, beaten up, together with his team? I was telling somebody, I counted 22 victims from UDP who lost their lives, who were raped and maimed because of the dictatorship. A party that went through that kind of trauma cannot come and traumatize its citizens. I will stop there.
Okay. That's the fear. I'm glad that you are trying to allay that fears, because there is a narrative that the UDP is a violent political party, and if they are given power, it will be a different full-fledged dictatorship. But that's another day for discussion. We are almost at the tail end of this interview. A final word from each of you in one or two sentences.
Yes, please.
I know you want to address that, but we don't have much time now, Dr. Manneh. But go ahead. I give you 30 seconds.
Make it 1 minute. You see, people who do this are deliberately going out to malign UDP, even though they know it's false. And I would appeal to all of you, don't relay that information, because they know that it's false and they are doing it deliberately. UDP has never been violent. We have been on the receiving end of violence. We are the ones who suffered state violence. We are the ones who continue to suffer state violence. But we never went out there to fight in a way that is going to harm anybody in this country. We fought using the law. Even 2021, when they cheated us of a victory, most recent one, we could have gone out into the streets and put the country in a very difficult situation. Hussein Dabo said no. He even went to the point of singing for his supporters to make them stop going out. He said, I don't want to wade in people's blood to go to State House. So we are not a party of violence. We have been quite the opposite. What we stand for is antithetical to violence. And we have consistently fought for the rule of law. And we will continue to fight for the rule of law and make sure that every Gambian gets what they deserve in terms of protection under the law. We must all be equal before and under the law. This is what we're fighting for. There'll be no vengeance, as people say, because the only thing is the law is going to apply. Simple, period. So UDP has never been violent and will never be violent. We will be very vocal in denouncing corruption, in denouncing violence, but we are not violent. So I think that's important to say. Thank you very much, and I appreciate the time you gave us on this platform.
Yeah. If the words of Dr. Mr. Lare, in 1 or 2 sentences, why should Gambians put their trust in the UDP strategy at this crucial moment in our political, history?
I just finished telling you that I sat down and I listed 22 names who were victims of one sort of violence or another, political violence inflicted on them. Our political leadership included, the entire national executive. Our women were raped and tortured. Hussein Udabo's body still carries scars from those tortures. And several of our national executive members died as a result of the torture and the brutality meted out to them. Isn't it therefore ironic, with all of that, UDP has never gone out on the streets to met out violence against it? Isn't it therefore ironic that people still peddle this false narrative that we are a violent party? Has anybody ever seen me being violent? Lamin, Manneh, Hussein Udabo, where is the violence coming from?
Some say party militants on social media, and then sometimes rough elements within your party. But I think you do have rough elements like other parties do, right?
I'm glad you mentioned that. Like other parties do. The difference between us is that our leadership, whenever these things happen, our leadership is we're not seeing that from the other opposition leaders or other ruling party leaders. Seni, this false premise that we are violent. Just look at this from the point of view of all the things that are happening in the legal realm, where people try to register individuals who are not entitled to be registered, who are ineligible to be registered. You take them to the police station. NPP operatives comes, tells them in a foreign language or in another language to say, don't worry, nothing is going to come out of this. UDP never did that. UDP is a party of respect for the rule of law. That's why we say everything we do, everything we agree with has to be aligned with the Constitution. But hey, you know what? We cannot prevent people from lying about us. But when they lie, we will debunk them.
Okay. And you will not allow them to control the narrative. That's Lare Sisay of UDP. Dr. Manneh, finally, one, 2 sentence, and then I let you guys go. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you. To conclude, I would say, Gambians, you know what you're living today. You know the hardships you are going through. I don't think anybody needs to explain that to you. You know how difficult to feed your family, to provide healthcare for them, to provide education for them, to provide simple things as electricity for them and water. You know who has put that difficulty on the Gambians. You know who's responsible for that. I do not think Gambians will go and vote for that system to continue, because it's only going to get worse. These are people who have made us so indebted and so impoverished. Let's not make it any worse for ourselves. We have an option to do something different. We must take control of our country and not let these people use us the way they want and then throw us, and then we continue to be beggars behind them. No, we take control of our country. any politician who comes who doesn't deliver what you agreed with them, vote them out, bring in new people, including UDP. But I know UDP will never do that. We will never betray the trust of the Gambians. Once we come in here, people will say, why didn't we do this earlier? We'll give you that promise. Let's do this together. Let's change our country and take it back and take it away from the abyss, from the standing on the brink. Let's pull it back from the abyss and come back and get our country to go to the places it can and should go to. That's what I would say to the Gambians. Trust yourselves, love yourselves, and take out of the office of number 1 Marina Parade anybody who does not serve your interests. Your interest should be paramount. Thank you all very much. And I'm looking forward to coming back on this platform again very soon, inshallah.
Yeah. Many thanks to my two special guests, Mr. Lare Sisay and Dr. Lamin Manneh, both very prominent faces, and negotiators in the United Democratic Party. Thank you for your time. And then it's always a pleasure talking to you. I'm so happy to talk to my my friend from Kudang. But today's gathering has nothing to do with Kudang, so I'm glad that he honored my invitation to be on this. So many thanks, Mr. Lare Sisay and Lamin Manneh. I hope to host you guys again as you navigate the 2026 presidential election. Good luck, gentlemen, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, Seni. Thank you for your viewers and listeners.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. That brought us to the end of this high-level interview with me here in our studios in Seattle. Dr. Lamin Manneh and Lare Sisay are my guests for this. A replay of the show will come in an hour time. So do enjoy the rest of our programs. Until I come your way, I'm your host, Seni Marina, live from our studio here in Seattle, Washington. Do have a wonderful Saturday. Bye-bye.